And Emma, you know, going back to the Championship, you're going to be part of the Premier coverage, all brand new on Monday night, the first game, York versus Featherstone. What are your hopes for that coverage on Premier Sports?
I think just echoing what Jodie said there, it's exposure, it's getting eyes on the sport. And I think this is an exciting year and I'm excited to feel a part of that. And I think in terms of getting eyes on it, it's giving fans that platform that they can watch their sport, but also new eyes and letting new eyes in and new people into the sport and seeing what the Championship has to offer.
And you're not doing things by halves though. I mean, 12 of the first 12 games, you're going to 12 of the 14 grounds for the Championship. So you've got a lot to be getting stuck into. And on top of that, we've got Betfred Challenge Cup coverage on Premier 2 and then the Summer Bash, which has been announced at Headingley. You know, how much are you looking forward to those opportunities as well?
I'm going to be a busy girl, aren't I? But I can't wait, because do you know what? There is no feeling quite like being on the ground and feeling a part of it, seeing fans there and watching the game up close. That's the bit I'm most excited for. The atmosphere, I feel like it's going to be electric. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to look forward to the Summer Bash, aren't we, in Headingley? It's going to be a big moment, and I think we're really excited about that. Have you got your eyes on anyone in particular in the Championship, Jodie, this season?
I think there's a lot of exciting teams in the Championship, some great signings across the board. I think you can't look past Featherstone. I think they've got a lot of quality try scorers across the board, and Brian McDermott coming in as head coach is obviously going to be a bit of a game changer for them. But lots of exciting teams. You know, I'm interested to see how York get on. I think as a club they're doing a lot of things right. You know, Bradford again, a bit of a soft spot. I know Emma's a Bradford girl as well, so you've got a soft spot there for Bradford. I think there's a lot of teams that are going to put the stamp on it. Seeing Cumbria have 3 teams in that competition is going to bring a lot of fire and passion, I'm sure.
Well, speaking of the Summer Bash, I think let's have a look at some of those fixtures that are going to be played over in Headingley. So we've got some big ties there, haven't we? In Bradford and Halifax there, as you say, that's going to be a big game. And London versus Sheffield. Any particular fixtures that you're looking forward to there, Emma?
To be honest with you, all of them. I'm excited to be a part of that. And what I love about this is you get, you know, the local rivalries that we all know about. It's that kind of, that's what adds to it on a weekend like this. Looking at it, all of them to me are exciting. I'm excited to see all of them, to be honest.
Yeah, and is there any particular team that stands out for you in the Championship this year?
I don't want to sound like I'm just repeating what Jodie says, but obviously Bucky's favourites are Featherstone. So I feel like it's going to be a privilege for me that the game that I'm opening on is that game at Featherstone against York, heading over to the LNER. I'm really excited for that. And I'm excited just to see as well fans and crowds and how, you know, they're going to get the opportunity after a rough few years, really, to go and watch their teams play and really feel part of it again.
Yeah, totally. And that first game is York versus Featherstone, Jodie. I mean, you'll know, York have done so much actually for the men's and women's game. It's quite impressive what they're doing over there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's brilliant. I mean, York and Featherstone, both 2 really strong women's clubs, as well as obviously doing fantastic in the men's competition. And I think that game's going to be exciting. I have got a little bit of a soft spot for York, despite them being rivals in the women's competition. I do appreciate everything that they're doing for the women's game, and I think as a club they're going from strength to strength. Last year, you know, a top 10 finish. They got to the 1895 Cup final. They got Club of the Year for all the work they're doing, you know, across all the teams that they've got, including the learning disability, physical disability rugby league that they do a lot of work in as well. So yeah, I think it's brilliant what they're doing, and York, I think, is a perfect opportunity to grow rugby league in a city which is really great to go and visit, but also doesn't have that strong foothold of a big football team as well. I think it's a great opportunity for us to grow, really.
And looking ahead to that coverage on the Monday night, you know, it's going to be at 7:45 at York. It's going to be a big moment, do you think, for the Championship?
I do, yeah. Hopefully we'll get a lot of eyes on that. Like Emma said, all the ties are really exciting, but I think that first one, York, Featherstone, replay of that 1895 Cup final will be a really great one to kickstart, get lots of eyes on it, really cement that Monday night as the time to get watching Championship Rugby League.
And you know, you mentioned sort of Featherstone. Did you used to live in Featherstone, or you grew up near Featherstone, or something like that? Have you got a bit of a soft spot for them?
No, I haven't. I'm going to be honest. I just know how good they are. You know, there's a lot of quality. So that's why I'm so excited. And for me, look, from a personal point of view, I'm excited because it's the first fixture for me, and it's my chance to get on the ground and see it live and feel a part of it. And I think that's you know, that's the most exciting bit. But just touching on what Jodie said as well, it feels like a really inclusive year this for rugby. It's brilliant. There is so much going on, and what a time for us all to be a part of it, isn't it?
Absolutely, and I tell you what, there's no better family than the Rugby League family, is there? So welcome to the fold. But I tell you what, we can look forward to that first game between York versus Featherstone. Here's a quick preview.
Looking forward to getting out here. Like, if you look around, it's a great stadium, and we're lucky to have it. Pre-season's been going really well. We've been training really well. We've worked on a few things from last year, and obviously added to a good squad. So looking forward to it. Obviously, last year was difficult with COVID and the year before, but this year everybody's got a clear focus of where they're going, and we've organised and prepared very well. So looking forward to it. Yeah. The Championship, it's a great league as it is, and all the clubs have recruited well, but yeah, we've recruited well as well. Some good names in there, and the new lads pretty much all of them have got the debuts out of the way now in the friendlies, so they're all raring to go. As I say, the Championship's it's a fantastic league, and it's very competitive. I think any team can be up there, any team can beat anybody on the day, but yeah, obviously the usual suspects are Leeds and Featherstones, but looking forward to seeing what the Cumbrian teams can do as well.
I think more or less everybody in the leagues bought well, added to a strong squad, so it was. So it's only exciting for the league. Obviously, we've got some new faces, a couple of backs, a couple of forwards. Obviously Joey Leah, when he turns up, it's a bit too cold for him, I think, at the minute. So he's on his way. But and obviously Jesse from Cass is he's loving it at the minute. So it's exciting for us.
The 2021 AB Sundex 1895 Cup winners are Featherstone Rovers.
It was awesome, obviously, for the players and for the fans. It was a great day out for them. So hopefully we can do it again. A brand new stadium at Tottenham, so that would be nice for a day out. But we've got to earn it. Again, another team that signed really strong for this year. So there are games no matter what. So everyone's starting on a level playing field, game one, so we're looking forward to it. It's nice that we're getting put on telly, Monday nights. It's something different, so we're looking forward to it.
Well, there we go, the 1895 Cup finalists kicking off the Premier Sports coverage for us next Monday night. But that's not all to look forward to in the Championship this season. We've got 2 Cumbrian sides joining the mix to take it to a total of 3 Cumbrian teams in the Championship. And joining us now is Rob Hicks, new Director of Operations and Legal at the RFL. Rob, what sort of impact do you think Workington and Barrow are going to have in the Championship this season?
I think they're both going to have really good, strong seasons. The Championship is always a really competitive division, and there's always surprise results. Trips to Cumbria are never easy for any team. It's a real hotbed of rugby league up there. So I think there'll be some big boys who will be worried for going up there, really.
I wanted to pick up on that actually, because you must have officiated up in Cumbria quite a bit in your career. What's the atmosphere like up there? Because I think people do forget, there's a lot of rugby league going off in Cumbria.
Yeah, rugby league's, I think, massive up there. It's such a hotbed, and there's a lot of passion for the sport, and the atmosphere in those 3 grounds, it's outstanding. I know that Barrow last year had some huge crowds, had some real good games up there, and I think when they get the likes of Leigh, Featherstone, Bradford with the big away following as well, I think there'll be some real cracking rugby league up there.
Yeah, and Barrow actually, they won League One Club of the Year last season, so they've got a lot going on, and they've just signed Jared Sammut up there, so it's going to be an exciting time, I think. What do you make of Barrow this season, Jodie?
Yeah, completely agree. I think passion is something that you will always get from Cumbrian teams. When I was a young girl playing, Cumbrian teams were always fantastically skillful but also really passionate. So I'm excited to see the derbies between them, and Barrow I think will 100% be coming into this with a lot of fight. Jared Sammut I think is a quality signing. He's going to lead them around the field really well, so it'll be interesting to see how they go this season.
And we're talking about York and Featherstone kicking off the Premier Sports coverage, but the actual first game of the Championship this season sees Workington versus Newcastle. That's going to be a tasty affair, surely.
Yeah, 100%. I think Workington, another new side into the Championship, but actually pre-season they've done quite well. They managed to get a last-minute victory over Whitehaven in pre-season friendly, so clearly going well, clearly ready for the season. Newcastle struggled a little bit against Wigan, but I think Newcastle's a really exciting team. There's a lot going on in Newcastle this year in regards to rugby league. You know, we've got the opener of the World Cup. We've got Magic Weekend back in Newcastle. So for me, I think Newcastle, again, is an area that's going from strength to strength, and that game is going to be one to watch.
Yeah, Newcastle is. I'm really excited about Newcastle actually, just as a club in general, because I think it's nice to see some of the expansion clubs doing well at the moment. What do you make of them, Rob?
I think they've really changed the dial of what rugby league is about. I think they've really grasped hold of the excitement around Magic Weekend up there. The community game is a real success story. It's gone from being embryonic to now being a really strong competitive community league. The club buy into that, and therefore they're bringing people through. There's a pathway from all the way from under sevens through their academy into their first team. They are almost the blueprint of how you can develop a club within the sport, and hopefully they're going to have a really strong season. They'll have it tough. Everybody in that division will. I think if you don't come with your A game in the championship, there's every chance you're going to get beaten, and that's even for Leigh, Featherstone, who'll probably start the season as favourites. But if you go to Newcastle and you're just undercooked, I think they'll spring some surprises up at Kingston Park.
And just going back to the Cumbrian teams, you know, in their first round, we've got Leigh versus Whitehaven and then Barrow versus Sheffield. Do you really think this year that the Cumbrian clubs can be a match to some of the other teams in the Championship, Jodie?
Yeah, 100%. You know, like Rob said, it's a really competitive league and it's not an easy place to go. So at the end of the day, all of these clubs have got to come and turn up ready to play, and I think they'll have a lot to prove. It's not just the fact of the teams that they're facing. Having the three Cumbrian sides in that league means they're also going to have one eye on the other teams, seeing where they are. You want the bragging rights, and I think it's brilliant for the sport that we have all three there. I'm hoping that they do well. I'm going to be rooting for them, and I'm sure Leigh and Sheffield will need to turn up with their A game.
And Whitehaven, Rob, I mean, they had a great season actually in the Championship last year. They made the playoffs, but it was a bit of a surprise. Do you think they could surprise everyone again this season?
There'll be more expectation and there'll be more pressure, because all of a sudden there's the three teams up there, and I think Jodie's point is absolutely right. It's local bragging rights are going to be massive, and those Whitehaven Workington derbies are huge events. So can they surprise people? I don't think it would be a surprise. They made the playoffs last year, so there's a little bit of expectation on them. I think they'll go very well, but I wouldn't like to predict this league this year. I think you're going to have to be a brave person to be putting your money anywhere there.
No, I think you're absolutely right. Well, I'll tell you what, let's have a preview of those Cumbrian clashes coming up this weekend in round one of the Championship.
Yeah, feeling really good. There's a good feel around the camp. Everyone's feeling fit, raring to go. So yeah, it's positive at the moment. We've got a few new boys in there, a few young lads as well who have all got a point to prove, I think. Training's competitive, like there's competition for spots and everyone's just fighting for the shirt really and wanting to show what they've got. Yeah, I don't think there'll be any easy games. There's a lot more games as well than what we had last year. But having said that, like I said, everyone's got a point to prove, and we're not really going to lay down and die. We're going to fight till the end and try our best in every game.
Yeah, it's been really good. We're pretty relatively new side, so a lot of it to start with was getting knowing each other and things like that. I'm one of the new signings, but everyone's gelled really well. Quite a few of us live together and things like that, so that's been a good start, getting to know people away from rugby as well. But the sides really bonded well together, and obviously we've started as pre-season games now, and you know it's nice to actually start getting into some pre-season and some competitive games. Yeah, there's a real good buzz around the team. Obviously, like I said, you know, there's quite a lot of new players. We've gone to a full-time system now as well, so I think this year, you know, we will be pushing towards the top end of the league. Yeah, definitely. I think there's some great players what have been brought into teams and things like that. So you know, we are expecting a real competitive season this year. I know last year we were a bit sort of breakaway with Toulouse and Featherstone, but this year I'm pretty sure there's a lot of other sides what are going to be pushing towards those spots as well.
Yeah, changing clubs, it was just from coming from Swinton, it was a big step up. Definitely somewhere I wanted to be because it's my hometown, so this is somewhere I think I'm the happiest I've ever been so far. But yeah, I'm really excited to be here. Yeah, everyone's settled in straight away. Obviously, we're not the biggest squad, everyone knows that, but I think that's actually helped us settle in a bit better. helped us bond easier, and everyone's looking out for each other, and we're ready for the season. Yeah, that pre-season, I think that's got us, and we're all excited for the new season ahead, and I can't wait to start playing rugby week in, week out again. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, exactly. We just want to build from last year. We had a lot of confidence at the back end of the season. We played some really relaxed and just good football, and hopefully we can do it again this year. Yeah, but for sure. We always got told by the older boys how good the derbies are. Got to experience one yesterday against Workington. Unfortunately, we lost, but we can't wait for the next couple during the year. Yeah, really excited for it. It's going to be, every week's going to be tough. Normally you might get 1 or 2 games that might be a bit easier, but this year it's going to be tough from every game, and it's going to be challenging.
A real tough game. I've heard they're a good side, so yeah, just expecting fireworks really that first round. Everyone wants to start off with a win, so I think we're ready. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they get a big crowd on over there as well. I've heard they played Workington last week, so we got one over on them last week, so they're going to try and come next time, and I think we're going to be ready.
It's been a bit strange, but obviously the last 2 years. But yeah, feeling good. The boys are all gelling well, and yeah, it's been a good one. Yeah, disappointed last year with where we finished, and how we went about our business and stuff. So I think he's recruited pretty well. We've had quite a big turnover in players. So it's got a similar feel to the 2019 season when a lot of players went and a lot of players came in. So I don't know. Hopefully, yeah, we can be challenging. Yeah, 100%. And you rightly said it. Every single year, you're going through that situation. You're thinking, God, it's going to be tougher this year. It's going to be tougher this year. The signings that some of the clubs have made, as you've seen, is phenomenal. So it's going to be a really tough season. Dare I say, the top end clubs will probably be challenging, or could challenge the bottom of Super League clubs as well. So yeah, it's going to be difficult, but one we're looking forward to.
I think we're all looking forward to that, to be honest. But just picking up on Thackeray's words there, Rob, do you think that the Championship sides can challenge Super League?
I think the gap is smaller than it has been for a long time, especially those sides right at the very top. I refereed yesterday. Featherstone played Wakefield, and it was a fairly strong Wakefield side. It's pre-season, you can't judge a lot by it, but it was a really competitive game. Lee played at St Helens on Friday night. That was another really competitive game, tight, low-scoring affairs. So the top end of this championship has got some real quality in it, and players who probably could still be playing in Super League and have chosen to drop into the Championship. And therefore, yeah, I think we've got a real chance of having a few upsets perhaps when the Challenge Cup comes around.
And there seems to be a bit more Super League pedigree now, I think, in the Championship. Do you think that there's a bit more interest perhaps in players to actually play in the Championship?
Yeah, 100%, especially with the additional coverage. It feels like a really big year for the Championship. And if this is a way of playing regular rugby, getting live on television, showcasing what you can do, then why would you not want to go to a Championship club and really put your stamp on a team, which you can do in the Championship, whereas, in a Super League club, you might be in and out of a team and struggling. I think there's a lot of players now who are choosing to make sure that they're putting themselves first, going to a club where they can take their own team, lead them around, put their stamp on a team, and I think they'll do really well. It's a real opportunity to put themselves in the shop window.
Yeah, absolutely. And Rob, we've been speaking about the Cumbrian sides and Newcastle and all of that, but there are some old school clubs still going strong in the Championship. Dewsbury and Bradford this weekend, for example, that's a proper West Yorkshire derby. It's going to be a good game, isn't it?
Yeah, and two really historic clubs. And the Championship's full of that, isn't it? It's full of new, exciting areas, historic clubs. Bradford, giant of the game in the not too distant history, so rebuilding, trying to get back into Super League. Featherstone in Super League last year. Featherstone just missed out on the £1 million game. Dewsbury, Batley had a phenomenal season last year. They've got people who probably could have played in Super League with like the halves of Tom Gilmore. That's a really strong competition this year. And then we've not even mentioned Halifax, have we? And they're another team who've recruited well, did well last year. Sheffield, we talk about what they've got up to. They've recruited differently this year. London, gone to a new venue. I think that whatever game you go to this weekend, there'll be some action and some upsets.
Well, there will be. Well, I'll tell you what, let's preview some more games coming up in the Championship this weekend.
Yeah, we've got to try and maintain what we did last year, try and get a bit of consistency, and you know, we've managed to retain the majority of our squad this year, and I think we've improved where we needed to improve with the players that we've brought in. So it's just about maintaining that consistency to try and finish in that top 6 regularly. Yeah, well, they've recruited really well at Halifax. You look at the team on paper, and it's a real high-quality team. They've brought some people in from Super League and some top-end Championship players as well. So, you know, we're expecting them to be good. They finished 3rd last year, so they had a good squad last year. But they've overhauled that a little bit this year with, you know, bringing some players in from full-time rugby. So we expect them to be real tough. And you know, the games that we had against Halifax last year, they were all very, very close and tough. So we're expecting exactly the same again this year.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. You know, last year no one really gave us a chance, but we knew what we had in the squad and what we were capable of, which I think we nearly fulfilled as potential. So yeah, everyone's still feeling good. You know, we played Witness yesterday, which were a tough game, very fast, but yeah, the mood's still good. Yeah, it's going to be tough. In Halifax have signed really well. They've signed, you know, a lot of players. Well, it takes time to gel though, don't it? So we'll just see how we go. We're just concentrate on ourselves. We're not really bothered about Halifax at the moment.
Yeah, our pre-season's been pretty tough, to be fair. So I think for me, one thing, yeah, we are looking forward to playing games and just getting the season started again. We obviously had a good 2021, so looking to build on that for 2022. Yeah, no, good. Players, I think we've got about 10 new signings or 11 new signings, whatever it is. I think every single one has brought something different and something to help us grow and obviously achieve where we want to go this year. But now it's been a real good addition for us, to be fair. Yeah, I think for us this year is obviously we fell short of what we could achieve. It's a no-brainer for us this year. We're looking obviously to do better than the result we did last year. But obviously can't look too far ahead, just build on what we've got and hopefully it falls come playoff time where we want to be.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. New challenge for me. I've been at Donny for the last 3 years, so I wanted to challenge myself in Championship. I'm really looking forward to it. Tough, very physical, big set of lads. Be faster, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I think I can do well. It'll be big physical set of lads. It's going to be obviously our ground pitch is going to be boggy, so it's going to be a battle down the middle, but we're looking forward to it and hopefully we can start off with a win.
You know, yeah, as you say, we did make the playoffs, but we probably let ourselves down towards the back end of last season. Ended up on quite a bit of a losing run towards the playoffs, so probably a little bit of burnout from all the training. You know, obviously the COVID didn't help. We still managed to train through that. A longer pre-season. So, you know, they're a bit of a burn away towards the end of that. We've learned from there. We've had a longer off-season this year, so, you know, we can really make a push for them playoffs and hope to do better this year. The mood's good around camp. Real good set of lads, all gelled well together in the pre-season, so look forward to things to come for this year. As always, it's always a tough place to go to, is Dewsbury. You know, it's a real tight, narrow pitch, so, you know, it turns into a bit of a forwards battle there, and you know, they always give us a good tough game, so we're expecting that. We've got a big game next week against Leeds, which will stand us in good stead to hit the ground running in the first game.
Yeah, it's definitely been different. Obviously, I'm one of the players that made a step up from League One into Championship. So the training and the intensity has been a lot harder than what I'm sort of used to. So, but yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's something different and it's a good challenge. Yeah, well, that's all it was really. I just wanted to test myself in Championship before I sort of lost that opportunity. And when London came and gave me it just felt right that obviously they've gone from full-time to part-time and it could really fit into my my sort of lifestyle as well. I can't wait. We've got Widnes first game of season at home, and it's just a new era for the club, you know, down at Wimbledon and everything as well. So it's going to be a special weekend. My family's going to come down and watch it. I'd say new colours, but it'd be blue and yellow again. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully I'll enjoy it.
Good. We've had a long pre-season. I think we started the last week of October, which is, you know, pretty early in the normal circumstances. So we've had a long, pretty tough pre-season to be fair. It's gone well. We had Danny Craven's testimonial game yesterday against Batley, which we ended up winning. But you know, we've shown the signs that we wanted to show, and all the years that we've been working to improve on. We've shown that yesterday, which is good for us coming up in the season. Yeah, you know, last year obviously bit of a difficult year. Everyone was struggling, you know, with the COVID situation. But then this year we've gone for a different tactic, and we've signed young, hungry lads who have played in Championship for quite many years now. So we took a different approach, and Yeah, look, we've got our goals, you know, I think everyone wants to make the playoffs, that's the obvious one, so that's a must for us this year. Yeah, it is, you know, you go across the squads and it's like, oh, I didn't realise he signed there, and, you know, speaking in the change rooms, waiting to do these interviews, and other players are mentioning plays they've got from their teams, and it's like, oh, you know, I didn't realise he signed there, so every squad's improving, you know, and with what's going to happen in the future with all the rumours about the structural change, you know, teams need to start, you know, start improving and start putting themselves in the best positions when that does occur.
Well, it's gearing up for a big year in the Championship and some big recruits there too. I mean, Rob, you've got Dec Patton playing for Bradford and John Keir at the helm. Do you reckon this finally is the year that the Bulls return to Super League?
They'll think that's their chance, won't they? There's, just as I keep saying all the time, I think you could make a case for 6 or 7 teams this year, and probably then you might even add another 2 or 3 in that say they could surprise people. We talked about Whitehaven. No one gave them a chance last year, and they were 80 minutes away from being in the £1 million game. So Bradford, I've refereed them. They look like they've recruited well. Dec's a great half. He'll lead them around the pitch well. It's going to be a little bit linked to who stays injury-free. They'll have every chance. They'll certainly be there or thereabouts.
And let's not forget yesterday in their pre-season friendly, they had over 7,000. I mean, that's a massive crowd for a Championship side, isn't it?
Yeah, and there was over 3,000 at Featherstone. There's real interest in the Championship, and there's going to be some real big opportunities for players who've been recruited to showcase their talents, get into Super League on merit, and that's what we want. We want a competition that thrives, brings in real good numbers in broadcast, and ultimately takes the sport to the next level.
Totally. And Jodie, Halifax, they've made some big recruits as well. You know, they've got Joe Arundel and Kyle Wood from Wakefield playing there. They could have a real impact this year.
Yeah, 100%. I think Kyle Wood particularly excites me as a ball player. I think he's going to really make a difference in that Halifax side in terms of his leadership, his experience from a Super League level, and obviously then working closely with Joe Arundel. When you know the players around you as a half, it really does help you in terms of guiding people around the field. So definitely recruited really well as per the rest of the league. It really does seem very exciting, like everyone means business.
And London, you know, they're in a new home again this season, but it feels like something a bit special's going on there, don't you think? And actually, do you think they could really make a stamp in Wimbledon, Rob?
I think they've got a great chance to put down some roots, build a supporter base. They'll have a tough season. They've made a lot of changes to their playing personnel. They've got a brand new coach who was an excellent coach in League One. Jermaine will have them fired up. I think it'll be a tough place for teams to go. We talked about travel up to Cumbria. Travel down to London in this league is not going to be easy. And I think they'll spring a few surprises. And it's the chance now to grow and make that club even better, even stronger, bring some youngsters through and give it a real go for a few years.
If you had £1 million for the £1 million game, who would you go for?
I'm not a betting man. I'm not picking a team in this division.
Rob, don't be shy.
I think this division's too tough to call at the minute.